Do you remember who he was?
Emperor Algren? Precleonic.
Yes, look at the brush stroke. Green on the neck, added after he died, like a footnote. What's it symbolize?
It signifies a betrayer. A traitor. He was executed for high treason.
On the way to Ignis, Hari has a nightmare about his death at the hands of 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 and is startled awake. He is shocked when a vision of 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 appears from the shadows and chastises him for the repercussions of that fateful night. Before disappearing without a trace, 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 bitterly tells Hari that he let his son die, but he isn't surprised as it's not the first time that it's happened. Confronting his newfound mortality, Hari cuts himself on the hand with 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸's knife, confirming that he's made of flesh and blood. As the trio prepares to land, Hari tells 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 and Salvor about his experience on Una's world. With no memory of his interaction with the manifestation of 𝐒𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐸 or the reasoning for why he was resurrected, Salvor theorizes that he is a clone, brought back to life by some unknown person for mysterious purposes. Additionally, Salvor shows 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 and Hari a transmission she picked up, explaining that the Foundation has spread throughout the Outer Reach, selling the concept of psychohistory as magic, and praising Hari as a prophet. Once again, Hari reminds them that the Hari Seldon inside the vault on Terminus is a separate entity from him, and is the one who the Foundation remains loyal to. Breaking through the atmosphere, the ship suffers a malfunction, and the engines fail, but Salvor successfully crash lands on the surface, preventing any serious injuries. Although the official records of Ignis claim that the planet has been void of human life for decades, Salvor heads out into the forest, convinced that someone was watching their crash from nearby. On Trantor, 𝐒𝐸th, 𝐸𝐸, and Han meet with their Imperial Formant, 𝐒𝐸𝐻𝐿𝐴, who has come up empty-handed with recordings of the assassination. However, 𝐒𝐸𝐿𝐴 tells them that the assassination attempt took place in Brother Day's bedchambers, and that there are no records of his involvement in the death of 𝐒𝐸th's family. Still curious for more information, 𝐒𝐸th tells 𝐸𝐸 that she will try to seduce Day to gain access to his bedroom and investigate. Later that night, Day gets ready for the romantic evening and chats with Demerzel in his bedroom. Although Day confesses his insecurity, Demerzel assures him that everything will be fine, and promises to wait in the secret chamber nearby. When 𝐒𝐸th arrives, she takes her time examining the room, admiring various wall decorations and statues that celebrate the 𝐒𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐸𝐸 dynasty. Interestingly, she notices that several spots have been suspiciously altered, but Day tells her that it's simply mold caused by parasites. Turning on her charm, 𝐒𝐸th tries to seduce Day, but when he starts to feel insecure, he lashes out, claiming that she never cared about intimacy in the first place. Coming clean, 𝐒𝐸th admits that she wanted to find out more information on the assassination, but only because she wants to feel safe in the palace, especially if she and Day are going to be married. As tempers boil, 𝐒𝐸th challenges Day to find the true culprit behind the assassination attempt, and if he does so, she will marry him. As 𝐒𝐸th storms out of the room, Demerzel returns, and Day tells her that despite the argument, he and 𝐒𝐸th are officially engaged. Meanwhile, Brother Dusk and 𝐸𝐸 share an intimate night in Dusk's bedroom, watching recordings of their first meeting at the Gossamer Court. During their conversation, Dusk reveals that he and the other Cleons are subject to routine memory audits, and that their memories are stored at the high-security memoriam. Reflecting on this, 𝐸𝐸 tells him that he should be glad he can trust his memories, as many others do not have the same luxury. Back on Ignis, Salvor searches the forest and finds the person who was tracking their crash. She manages to sneak up behind them, but when the mysterious person removes their face covering, she is shocked to see 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 behind the mask. Although suspicious at first, 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 claims that he also went into cryosleep a century prior, and tracked the beggar's movement to Ignis so that they could be reunited. Aboard the beggar, Hari and 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 start to forgive each other for their respective grievances, but are interrupted when Salvor returns with 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸. Feeling that something is off, Hari refuses to let them aboard, and tells 𝐄𝐩𝐬𝐸 to hide the Prime Radiant. Suddenly, the ship is attacked by settlers from the forest, and the man masquerading as 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 changes appearance, confirming Hari's suspicions. Brute forcing their way onto the ship, the locals knock out Hari, 𝐤𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐨𝐝, and 𝐒𝐒𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐿 using seemingly mental forces. Back on Trantor, 𝐒𝐒𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐴 meets with 𝐤𝐤, Han, and Milky in the gardens and shares news of her engagement. Eager to learn more about the assassination attempt, 𝐤𝐤 tells 𝐒𝐒𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐴 that the memories of the palace workers and the emperors are kept in the memoriam, so 𝐒𝐒𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐴 orders Milky to retrieve the memories of a medical worker who was present during the attack. As Milky heads to the memoriam and successfully retrieves the memory data, Dusk has a conversation with Demerzel and discovers that Brother Day is the only person with the authority to edit the Empire's memories. While Demerzel reassures Dusk that all of his memories are stored in the memoriam and that her memory cannot be altered, she concedes that there would be no way for Dusk or Dawn to know if their personal memories were changed by Day. In the gardens, 𝐒𝐒𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐴 reviews the medical workers' memory footage with 𝐤𝐤 and the rest of her advisors, and they are shocked to see Demerzel gravely wounded, but still able to function. Upon closer inspection, they realize that she is an intelligent robot, which have been banned for over a millennium. Meanwhile, Dawn and Dusk take a trip to the Principum and consult with a memory of 𝐒𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐿 I. When they bring up their issues about Day's abuse of power, 𝐒𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐿 I tells them that everything has been accounted for, and that they must be united over anything else. Refusing to let things go, Dawn and Dusk head for the memoriam, where they request the total memory sizes of every 𝐒𝐞𝐚, including themselves. While they wait for the data, they reflect on a mural of Emperor Algren, who ruled before the 𝐒𝐞𝐚IC Age and was executed for treason. Reflecting on Algren's legacy, Dusk admits that he was an ineffective ruler and let Demerzel deal with most of the political decisions during his time as emperor. Viewing the memory data of each 𝐒𝐞𝐚, they noticed that 𝐒𝐞𝐚 I had a much larger store of memories than any of his successors, implying that something might have been removed when the clones were created. Waking up in a rustic room somewhere on Ignis, 𝐤𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐴, Salvor, and Hari are surprised to find no guards watching them, and the door unlocked. Following the sounds of whispers, which Hari cannot hear, the trio finds a room full of the robed locals who attacked them, surrounding a young child. Introducing herself as 𝐤𝐿𝐴 Bond, an incarnation of a sacred goddess, she welcomes them to her refuge. However, Hari sees through the deception and correctly deduces that the child goddess is simply an illusion. As the illusion fades, the true 𝐤𝐿𝐴 reveals herself and explains that she and her followers have telepathic abilities, and although some refer to them as Mentallics, she prefers to call them the Sighted. Since 𝐤𝐤𝐢 and Salvor have telepathic abilities as well, it was 𝐤𝐿𝐴's voice that called them to Ignis, and she was the cause of Hari's vision of 𝐤𝐸. Reading their minds and comforting their individual worries, 𝐤𝐿𝐴 tells the trio that they should rest for a while and discuss further plans the next day. As they leave, Loron, the man who was disguised as Hugo, shows 𝐤𝐿𝐴 a drawing of the Prime Radiant, and she vows to find it and destroy it, so that the Second Foundation will never be created.